like the good days, secrets, Purim!
Against the Jews there was a sealed decree. Haman and his men were as happy as could be. They met Mordecai and followed him to listen to what he would ask the children. Recite for me your verse that you were taught today. Each of the three boys had another pasuk to say. Don't fear sudden terror, said boy number one, nor the destruction by the wicked when it does come. Boy number two said, we learned a lot in Nach today, but with the following verse we ended our school day. Devise a plan, but it will be foiled. Speak a word, but it will not stand. For Hashem is with us, holding our hand. The third child answered, until your old age I am the same, and until you turn gray, I will carry you, Hashem does proclaim. I was the maker, and I will be the bearer, and I will carry you, and you I will deliver. After Mordecai heard the children's answers, he laughed and rejoiced greatly. Haman asked him, what about these children's words made you so happy? Mordecai said, because of the good news I got, I don't fear the plot that you planned. Haman said, these children will be first, against whom I will direct my hand. The reason why Haman made the decree was because he was so angry that Mordecai refused to bow down to him because he was a Jew. He wanted to destroy the Yidden because they all had that Jewish spark too. The reason why Haman succeeded in making such an evil decree, to kill every Jewish man, woman, child, and tiny baby, was only because the Yidden weren't connected to Hashem as they should be. They bowed to idols, which goes against the core of our Jewish identity. Mordechai knew that in order to annul the decree, the Yidden had to be ready to have Mesiras Nefesh in actuality. He had to reveal their spark and connection in every thought, speech, and action. From the words of the children who were coming home from school, it was clear that the Yidden would pass the test. From the plot, he had no fear. To encourage the Yidden to do teshuvah, his clothes he did tear, and he cried out in a loud and bitter cry in the city square. The three verses that the children did say are more than just encouraging and nice. They represent three levels of faith and trust in Hashem that lead to self-sacrifice. The first is that without explanation, a Jew puts his fears to rest because he feels that everything that Hashem does is for the best. The second is that a Jew is not just fearless, but confident with all his might. The plans of our enemies will foil because Hashem is with us, holding us tight. The third is that the rules of nature, like becoming old, have no sway over a Jew, because not only is Hashem with us, but because He made you, He will deliver you. These three verses also represent three levels of education for our precious school children. Although they don't understand, to learn to recite a verse, they begin. Not to fear sudden terror, nor the destruction by the wicked, is a given. As the child matures and could think independently, we teach him to have faith and trust with absolute certainty. Hashem is with us, the child can understand. For the plot of our enemies will surely foil and will not stand. The third type of child, whose intellect and knowledge has reached higher, doesn't get scared away by the limitations of nature. Since Hashem created us all to save us, He can always make the call. Mordechai was joyous when the good news he did hear, because it was a fact that the essence of the Jewish soul and the self-sacrifice of the Jews was intact, because not only were they inspired and taught about faith during school hours, to stir and reveal this point to all when they got home, they had powers. Haman wanted to start with killing specifically the children because he saw in them the continuity of the Jewish nation. By Matan Torah, the fact that Yidden would keep the Torah, the children did guarantee. In the days of Purim, it happened in actuality. The lesson that we learn from Mordechai is that when our children bring home the Torah that they learn, Am Yisrael Chai. This includes internalizing the oral Torah and Hasidus too. It gives us the strength to get rid of our enemies and bring Mashiach Tzidkenu,